Hello, welcome back. I'm Andreas Chatt, your tech-curious web designer. In this video, we will learn how to connect to a free email client to send confirmation emails when new users sign up to the website. I will be using Gmail for this. We will also cover sending verification emails when users change their email address, as well as email notifications when users get a new message in their inbox. So without further ado, let's go and jump right into it. So first, if you haven't done so yet, create a free email account on Gmail.
A few moments later.
Once this is done, let's switch now to Gmail for our email backend. For this, we go to our settings.py file in the core folder. And here we find the email backend variable at the bottom of the file. At the moment, we are just using the console to send us the test emails. But in production, we're using now a SMTP backend. So SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So we swap console with SMTP. Now I'm adding here again a if-else statement to switch between those two backends. If environment is equal to production, or I'm using the Postgres database locally, I'm using the email client, and else I'm using the console as the email backend. And add it here. Okay, now we need to add a couple of variables to establish the connection to the email client. First, we have the email host. So just underneath here in the production environment, I'm adding email host equals, and then in brackets, I add smtp.gmail.com. The next variable we need is email host user. And this is equal to the Gmail address. For this, we can create an environment variable. So let's do that. env, and in quotes, email underscore address. All right, the next one is the email host password. And we add it again as an environment variable. Important to remember here is that this password is not your email password. Never share that one. We create a special app password now on Gmail. Let's do that now. Let's go to Gmail. So here we have to go to our Manage Google account. So we click on the avatar icon on top. Manage your Google account. Then we go to Security on the left panel here. Then here is important that we set up a two-step verification. In case you haven't done this yet, you have to turn this on.
A few minutes later.
Once you have the two-step verification set up, we click this link. On this page, we go to the app password section at the bottom and click the app passwords icon here. And here we're adding the name of the app. Awesome. Okay, then we click create. And this gives me the app password, which is our email host password. So let's copy the password and go back to our code and add this to our environment variables. So I'm going to the env file. Let's first also create the email address. Equals, then here we add address, then the password, so email underscore host underscore password equals, and paste it in here. Let's get rid of the spaces here. Okay, and there we go. Save this file. Back to the settings. We are not just done yet. A couple of more variables we have to add. So the next one we have is email port. A port is basically a channel used by a specific protocol. So our port number is 587, as we're using here a secured SMTP protocol. Next we have email use TLS. And this we set to true. So TLS stands for Transport Layer Security and is an encryption layer which makes our connection secure. And then we have two more email specific variables. The first one is default from email. And here we add the name of the sender. So in my case, awesome. Alright. And the last one is account email subject prefix. So Django by default adds the name of the website in front of the subject. With keeping this variable empty though, I get rid of it. Alright, that's all now. So let's do a local test now. I save this file here and switch to the production environment to get access to the Gmail backend. Like that. Okay, and now let's start up the server. So Python manage.py run server, then localhost :8000. We are connecting now also to the remote Postgres server, so this takes now slightly longer to load. But there we are. Let's sign up with a new user. Now we add here a new email address. To create a variation of your email, just add a plus and a number to it. And then I'm adding here a +1, for example. So then @gmail.com. I give it a username, test1, and password. And sign up. Okay, let's check the inbox for the confirmation email. And indeed, I got an email, please confirm your email address. If I click on it, I can see the confirmation email. Awesome. But what I can notice here is that the sender's name is not shown as expected. I will have a look at that in a second. But we also have hello from example.com. Here I want to display the name of the website. We can change this in the sites table in the database. Let's do that now. Okay, I opened up here the admin panel in a different browser. And here in the sites section, we have a table called sites. And here we can see we have a domain name and a display name. Let's change this now. So the display name is the name of our website. And we also add our domain. For now, I'm using my render subdomain. Like that. And save the page. Okay, let's go back now to our settings file and fix the sender name. So it looks like that default from email expects an email address, or at least a name with 2 words to display correctly. As I want only awesome as the name of the website, I will just add here the email now as well. I'm grabbing here the environment variable for the email address. Now for this to work, we have to transform it into a F string. So I put a F in front here. Then we create a variable out of this one with curly brackets. And we also have to change the single to double quotes here. All right. Now this should work. Let's check it out. Let's save this file and sign up with a new user. I add +2 this time, like that. Then user is test2, a password. Okay, a confirmation email was sent. Let's check it out. There it is. And great, we have awesome here as the sender name with the email address. Then we have here hello from awesome from the website, the domain with a link, and here is the link to confirm the email. Great. Let's test this on the live site now. But before we can push the code to the web server, we have to add our environment variables. So we have to add the email address and the email host password. Okay, let's do that now. Let's go to render.com. Then here we choose our web service. Then to environment. And here we add our variables. The email address. Now we add the Gmail account we created. Okay, and then the next one. Email host password. And we grab it from our env file. And save changes. Alright, now render is updated. Now we can push the code to the server. Let's open up GitHub Desktop. There we can see our changes in our settings.py file. Let's add a title, Gmail setup, and commit to main, and push origin. Let's go back to render now and watch it being deployed. We go to events, and we can see here the commit is being processed. We have to wait until this process is finished. This will take a couple of minutes.
A few minutes later.
Alright, we are live now. Okay, let's go to the website and let's create a new account. Sign up. I add +3 this time. Test3 username. And create new account. Now let's check the inbox. Back to Gmail. Great, the email is here. Let's confirm the email address. So I click on this link here. I confirm. And my email address is confirmed. Great. Let's look how this looks like in the database. So I'm going here to the accounts, email addresses. And I can see here the latest email address I used is verified now. Perfect, that worked.
Nice.
Now next, let's add the functionality to update this email address here when the user changes the email in the edit profile page. Right now, when we change the email address, only the profile and the user table gets updated with the new email. We can also test this quickly. So let's go to the edit profile page. We change the email address to +4 and submit. Now let's check back in the backend. So we changed this +3 to +4. Let's refresh this page. And we can see nothing changed here. However, in our users table, the email was updated here. Let's implement this now. For this, we create a new signal. So let's go to our signals.py file. So I'm going to the users folder, signals, and here I'm adding a new signal. So I'm adding here the receiver, so it's a post-save signal, and the sender is our profile table. Okay. Then I'm adding here our function with the name update account email with those 4 parameters, so sender, instance, created, and keyword arguments. Then I'm adding here profile equals instance. This is just to make clear that the instance in this case is our profile object. Then I'm adding here if not created. We trigger the signal only when the profile is updated, not newly created. Then I'm creating here this variable email address. Here I'm accessing the email address table. Let's import this model class. So from allauth.account.models import email address. And then I'm adding the method getPrimary, which will give me the primary email address of this profile user. If we go back to the database, in the email addresses, we can see here this primary property here, because allauth accepts more email addresses for an account. But if we call the getPrimary method, we will just get back one result, the primary email. So now we check if those email addresses in those two tables are the same. So we say here, if email address dot email. So this is the email property in our email address object we just created here. So if this is not the same as the profile.email, we update the email. So we copy this line here and assign this value. And then I'm also updating the verified property on this email object, because now we have a new email address and we should verify it by sending a verification email. Now let's save it in the database. So email underscore address dot save and parentheses. Okay. So if there is for any reason no email address stored for a particular user and we call .email on that non-existing object, that would give us a server error and a broken website. So to avoid this case, I just wrap this code now in a try and except block. So I'm adding here try and indent and accept. And here I'm just writing pass, which basically means if there is an error, just ignore it. Okay, save this file, let's check it out. Let's go back to our local development environment. So localhost :8000, and here I'm changing the email address to +5 and submit. Okay, now let's go back to the database. And if I refresh here, the +2 email should update to +5. And indeed, it worked. So now that the email has changed, I would like also to send a verification email to have this email verified here. For this, I'm creating now a new view which triggers the confirmation email to be sent. So I'm going to my views.py file. And I'm adding here a new view. And I'm calling it profile verify email. And I'm adding here the send email confirmation function. This is a function from the allauth package which takes in the request and the user. Okay. And then return to profile. Let's import this function on top. From allauth.account.utils import send email confirmation. Okay. Now let's update our profile edit view. So whenever the profile is updated, I would like to check if the email address of the user is verified. And if not, I'm sending a verification email. So I'm adding here a if-else statement. So I'm checking here if the primary email of this user is verified. So I'm starting here with the user, request.user. Then I'm accessing here the email address table with email address underscore set. Then I'm getting here the email where the primary parameter is true. And then I'm also checking if it's verified or not. If it's verified, I return the user to the profile page. Else, I redirect the user to the profile verify email view, which is a function we just created. You might be wondering why we don't attach the send email confirmation function straight in this view here. I did some testing around this, and it seems like by the time we would call this function, all auth is not done yet with updating the email address table in the database. By creating a view, I make sure all the previous processes are completed. Okay, let's add this path in our URL now. So save this file. We go to urls.py. Then we add it to our profile links here. So here this path is calling our view. And here's the name profile-verify-email. Okay, save this file. Let's check it out. Again, edit profile. Let's change it back to 2. And submit. Right now this email is not verified in a database. Let's have a quick look. So the 5 should change back to 2. And indeed, and it's not verified. Let's check our inbox. And as we can see here, I received a confirmation email. Let's confirm. Okay, the email is confirmed now. Let's double check in the database. Refresh the page. And indeed, it's verified. Awesome. Okay, there's one last feature I want to add to my application now, and that's an email notification when I get a new mail in my inbox. Let's create this functionality now using again a signal. So I'm adding this signal to my inbox app. So I'm going to my inbox folder and create a new signals file. Now there are a few imports we would like to copy over from our users signals file. So let's go there and grab the receiver and also the post save method. We also have to import our inbox message class. So from .models import inbox message. Okay, now let's create our signal. First add the receiver using the post save signal, and the sender is our inbox message table. Then we define the function. I give it the name send email. Then I rename the instance to message. So message equals instance. Then first I check if created. So the signal is triggered when we have a new message created. Next I'm figuring out who the participants are in this conversation, because we want to send this email to the participant who is not the sender itself. So for this I'm looping now through the participants of this conversation. So for participant in, then we have the message dot conversation dot participants dot all. And now I'm checking for each participant if it's not the sender of the message. So if participant is not message.sender, colon, in that case I'm sending an email. And for the email we need a couple of elements. So the first one is the email address. So participant.email address underscore set. So we're accessing here the email address table. And then I'm retrieving the primary and verified email. So we only want to send emails to verified email addresses. Okay. Then next we have the email subject. So the subject could say new message from, and then the name of the sender. So let's add here a variable in curly brackets, message.sender. And for this to work, we have to transform it into a f string, like that. Then next we have also the email body. Here we can add a message like, I have good news for you. If you want to create a new line here, you add backslash and n. And then we can say, you received a new message at, and here we can link to the website. So in our case, we don't have the final website URL yet. So let's get the value from the domain property in the sites table. So let's add this variable here. So I call it site underscore domain. Let's transform it into a f string. And let's define this site domain variable now. So on top here, just under message, I define this variable. So site underscore domain equals, then we have to access the site table. Let's import this class now. So on top here, I add this import. So from django.contrib.sites.models import site. Now I have access to this class here. So I say dot objects dot get. So the site object I would like to get is the site with the primary key 1. As we remember, in our settings file, we assigned the site ID or primary key to 1. So I'm saying here pk equals 1. So now we have access to our site object, and to get the domain property, I just say dot domain. Alright, so we added our site domain now, and we have our address, subject and body. Now we can create our email object. So email equals, now to write the email we can use the email message class Django provides. Let's import this class now. So on top, I add from django.core.mail import email message. Then I instantiate this object now, email message, and in parentheses, the first parameter is the email subject. Then the next one is the email body, comma, and then we add 2 equals. This is a list of potential email addresses, so we add here square brackets, and in here I'm adding now my email address. This is the object. To get the actual email address, I add .email, like that. Okay, and finally we say email.send. Okay. And again, I wrap this now in a try except block to avoid server errors. So I'm adding here try, then indent those lines, and accept, and pass. Additionally, we can extend the if-else statement at the top to check if the email is verified. So I'm adding here and I'm checking here if a primary and verified email address of this participant exists. Okay, save this file now. Let's add this signal now to our apps.py file so Django knows about it. So let's go to apps.py, and in here we have to add the ready function and import here the signals file. Okay. Save this file, and now let's do a test. Let's go back to our website. Here I'm going to inbox to write a new message. I'm writing a message to the test3 user, which we know has already a verified email address from before. So test3. Here I'm writing new message and submit message. Okay, and now let's check the inbox for the notification email. I got here a new message from test2. Perfect, and here we have the email with a link back to the website. The website is loading. We are still using our FreeT here on render, and our web app is going into sleep mode after 15 minutes of inactivity. so it takes a couple of minutes to wake it up again.
One eternity later.
But now we are back. Let's check out the inbox. And I got a new message from test 2. Awesome. Alright, it all seems to work locally. Let's push the code now to the web server and test again on the live side. So I'm opening up my GitHub desktop. Here we have all the files which changed. I give it a title here, email notifications, then commit to main, and push origin. Okay, let's go to render. And as we can see, it is deploying. This will take again a couple of minutes. Okay, the changes are now live. Let's go to the website. I am here on the edit profile page. First, I test to change my email. So I'm changing it to 33 and submit. Confirmation email is sent. Let's check the inbox. I got the email. I click the link. I confirm. Okay, this all works. Now let's test to write a message. I reply to this message here. Send message. Now let's check the inbox. And we received a notification. Nice. Okay, this is all for this video. Thank you for watching. In the next video, I will be looking into the concept of CI/CD, so continuous integration and continuous development, which is an important concept when adding new features to a live site and also when working with more people on the same project. I hope to see you again there. Until then, happy coding! Stay curious, my friends!